Hi guys, thanks for stopping by and checking out another one of my videos. I'm getting a lot of views on my OP-1 videos, and I thought I'd put together a different type of tutorial today. Might be a little bit long by the time I'm done with it, but it's going to be kind of a combination of what you can do with the OP-1 and what I do with my normal projects for my band Natural Rhythm. So anyways, let's get started. This is my MacBook. What I've got are some samples that my friend Cherry sent me to do a remix of, potentially for her label, and I am going to want to put those samples into my OP-1. I have a couple different options. I can play them out of the MacBook audio out here into the OP-1 and record them, or I can drop them in the drum editor, and I think that's probably a better way to go, so I can show you how to use the drum editor to adjust your loop points. So let's get started here. I'm going to take this first sample and drop that right here in the drum editor, and we'll be able to listen to that and see what it sounds like. It's actually a 15-second sample, but the second 7.5 seconds is pretty much a repeat of the first couple bars, so I'm just going to put the first 12 seconds in here. Okay, perfect. So now what I need to do is save this, and the drum editor allows you to export this. So I've dropped that in there. I could adjust some of the different modes and things here, but because I'm going to cut this thing up, I'm going to do that inside the OP-1 as needed as I play it in. But right now we're going to export the AIF, which is very convenient. I'm going to name this Jane. Let's plug in the OP-1 and show how to move the kit in there. Okay, so I've got my OP-1 out. I have connected the USB to the USB of the laptop, and now I'm going to go on the OP-1 to the COM button. Oh, excuse me, Shift COM, which is going to be kind of complicated here. Bear with me a second. Shift COM brings up this screen, and we're going to press 3 for disk. Okay, that shows it's communicating with the computer. And now on my desktop, we should see an icon pop up here in a second for OP-1. There it is, no name. So we're going to open that up, and this is the internal file structure of the OP-1. So let's take a look. We've got album, drum, synth, and tape. So we're going to go to drum, user, and I have 36 different items in here, so I'm going to actually have to take some of these out in order to fit the stuff I want to fit. So
I'm going to remove Premiere, remove that trash, remove this overlay trash, I'm going to remove the bias kit, and I'll remove also the MS-20 kit.
So now I've got 32 total items, and I can drag in these Manjane kits that I created over here. So I'm just going to drag them across, just like this, in. So those now show in the user bank in the OP-1 navigation. So I'm going to eject OP-1. The screen will now restart, and it's saying it is creating those drum patches. I don't know, hopefully I can get my iPhone here to zoom in on that. So you can see it's created the 3 Manjane drum patches, and at the top it has removed the patches that I removed. And I have those backed up in my MacBook, so I can go and drop different drum kits in anytime I want, and it's pretty easy to drag and drop. If you've ever used a flash drive, you got this. Now let me press any key to continue. It'll go back to the OP-1 screen. Alright, there's my tape screen. So I'm going to go to drum, and I'm going to do shift drum so we can load this up. So let me go to the user kits, and let's look for the Manjane stuff. So here we go. Here's Manjane. Let's test this out. Yep, that's the one we want. It's in there. So it's playing the full 12-second sample over and over and over again. So now I can go and at the top of the screen you can see the full 12-second sample. I'm going to go drag some markers. And with the white knob, you can select the end of the sample. With the green knob, you can select the start of the sample. So I'm going to go right from the beginning and we're going to turn this, it's right now at play till end. We're going to turn that to be play as long as held. You can set it to loop all the way to the right if you want, and we may do that, but right now we're just going to set it at play as long as held. So you can see we've got this happening. And I want to set this one to start it in different positions, so let's turn this green knob. Okay, let's turn the white knob to bring it to be a shorter sample. Perfect. Let's do this next key. And these are shorter, so I'm gonna have these play till the end. So I'll turn that, play that to the end. So not to loop. So let's just say I wanted to go to pattern sequencer here. Shift. Select the sequencer mode. I'm going to go to pattern. I'm going to clear this out. Shift. And the blue knob. Alright, so now I can go and program some notes in here. So let's go right on the downbeat. We're going to program in this note. So shift.
See how this looks a little bit. Alright, that's working just like we hoped, so let's go here and we'll go shift. Skip over into shift again, and then we're going to go to the other key.
Okay, that's about right. So I'm going to turn the hold off. You can go to tape mode. We can find an empty section of tape. So I'm going to go stop, right arrow, and that bounces me to the very end of the tape I have selected. Everything I have on the tape, you can see I've got 2 minutes and 52 seconds worth of stuff on here, and I need that stuff on there still because I'm working on it. This is kind of an answer for those people who have the question of how do you work on multiple projects. Basically 0 minutes to 1 minute is one project, 1 minute to almost 3 minutes is a second project, and now I'm going to set this to jump ahead with shift and arrow to jump to the next tape marker, set a new in point with the loop here on with key 1 of 8. Jump ahead with shift and arrow one time and hit the out key. Now I've got the new loop set up. I can hit stop. It's at the beginning of that loop. And there's my sequence that starts when I hold a key. So now to get this synced to tape, all I do is I hold record and press the key. The only complication with that is you have to let it go right at the right time or it will overdub over your existing recording. And you can get some cool phased effects by doing that, but it's not always what you're looking for. So I can stop that. So check it out. Now we can go back to drum. We'll load up a different, you know what, we'll leave Man Jane loaded there for a second. We'll go to a different drum pattern. And let's do shift drum and pick the kit we want. Let's go, so turn the sequencer off for a moment. Let's see what sounds we got. Okay, so let's turn the sequencer back on. This is going to work for us. So we're going to do, again, shift, turn the blue knob to erase all the notes right at the beginning, and now we can do shift and start to enter our notes into the pattern. So let's see here. Okay, so it's got a basic 4/4 going. Yeah. So we'll go back to tape. We're going to go to track 1 where I like to put my beats, and in this case I'm recording kick and everything just so I can compose the song. I may go back later and record the same drum pattern without the kick so I can selectively bring that completely in and out of the mix with loop sections as opposed to using shift and wasting a track just on the kick. So let's see. Let's hold record and get this beat down. Record. Yeah, remix is in effect. Okay, so we're started on the remix. Let me try and get set up here with an iPad so I am not floating this camera all over the place and making everybody seasick. Back in a sec. Okay, one quick note. People have asked how I film my OP-1, and here's the crude truth. It's a box with the OP-1 on top of it, with TV tray with my iPad 2 hanging off the top with the camera open, and a bunch of heavy stuff holding the iPad down so it doesn't fall over. So in order to record, I just hit record over here and end up with the raw video footage that I'll put in the video for you later, as you're going to see next. So to continue, we've got this 2 loops going, beat, and the beginnings of some of the samples I'm chopping up for the remix of the Man Jane project. So let's just say I were to want to now add a synth sound over the top of this to compose. So let's go synthesizer. It's kind of a disco-y vibe, so let's try. Okay. Yeah. I got an idea. So let me stop this. I'm going to program a sequence that I have in my mind right now. So I'm going to go to the synth sound. This is a bass sound that's really kind of low. You probably can't hear that at all on the microphone, so just bear with me a second because I'm going to change that to a different sound. I'm going to turn the sequencer on. It's a 32-step sequence that's programmed already. We're going to dump that and program something new in. So .32 beats, I can let go. Now I've got a sequence. So okay, so let's just get that started. I'm going to put hold on, and we'll go back to the synthesizer and browse for a different sound. I'm using the cluster engine, and these are my patches that I made. Oh, this could be nice. Okay, yeah, we're gonna go with this. Hit synth again. Turn hold off on the sequencer. We'll go to track 3. Hit, you know what, we need to copy this to be a little bit longer, so I'm gonna hold down shift and lift all of this. And I'm gonna hit forwards and backwards just to make sure that the cursor is right at the beginning of this tape section. You do that by just hitting shift forward arrow, backwards arrow. Now I'm going to drop those pieces I lifted, aka cut or copied in a PC or Mac. I'm going to do forward backwards again and drop them a second time. And then now hit the out point. So now I've got just a 2-bar loop instead of a 1-bar loop. You know what? And we actually need it a bit, another couple bars longer. So if you hold down shift, you'll notice everything gets highlighted. We're going to lift that whole new section again. Everything's gone. Forward, backward, drop it at the beginning of that tape loop. Do it again. Forward, backward, drop it again. And really, I'm just being safe. My music needs to be tempo locked, so I'm just taking precaution to make sure everything stays exactly on time, because I don't want to be in a club and have some mistakes happen because, you know, everybody looks at you, and that's not what you're there to do. You're there to rock it out. So now we've got the loop that we need. Hit stop and go back to the beginning, and let's bring the level down a little bit on the gain of this track in, and let's just record this and see how it goes. So we're on tape, we're on track 3. I'm going to hold record and start my sequence exactly on time. Let me see, hold on, before I do that, let me make sure what pitch I'm going to play the loop back at. And I'm going to adjust the gain up a little bit. Let me What are my tape volumes? Oh, I'm really low because I've got another track going in here with a lower volume. I'll just leave that, it's fine. Drop this down a bit, hold record, and sync it out. See, now I can go and just solo tracks. Okay, so let's say I were to want to make a move. I've got this going, and I want to redo that first Man-Jane sample part with a filter on it. So I'm going to shift and lift everything up. I'm going to paste it right back where I picked it up. Now it's in memory, so I can paste it again after this loop. I'm going to go backwards a little bit. And here's a beautiful thing. If you hold shift and loop while you've got any piece highlighted, it will set the loop automatically to that piece. So I will also go and just make sure that the out point of the loop is exactly where it needs to be and the in point is right where it needs to be. So now I'm going to go back to track 2 where I've got this piece, and I'm going to lift that out. Now it's deleted. So we'll go back to drum. We'll bring up that Man-Jane kit, which I believe is here on number 1. Okay, so let's go back and program a sequence, because remember, we used the pattern for the drums to program in that typical 4/4 beat. So I'm going to hold shift and blue knob and erase that. And we're going to program in this sequence we had going before. Okay, so we've got that going. Hey doggies. My dogs are crazy. Anyway, so now let's turn on effects. So go to shift, we're going to turn on punch. We're going to go to punch, we're going to turn the red knob, which is the mix, all the way up. We're going to put the rounds, which I believe to be the decibel setting of the filter. We'll leave the resonance, which is down here, this particular, the punch knob, about 40. See, that filtery sound would be kind of nice if we could control that. Well, guess what? We can. We'll go to the LFO, we'll go to value LFO, and we're going to set it to control the effects. We're going to need to control the blue knob. Oh, you can see it's kind of controlling it now. So if we go back to this, we'll set the speed quite a bit slower. Dial it in, just trying to dial in the depth and the speed so it pulses and does what I want it to do. Okay, we can go back to the sequence, turn that off, and we'll go back to the tape and see how this sounds. I'm not going to record it in, I'm going to test it in. So let me mute 3, which is the synth sound we recorded. See how this goes. I'm going to hit play and the sequence at the same time. Yeah, I think that's going to work out for us. So now we hold record and we'll trigger it right on time. Let it go right on time, and now we've got this same filtered piece in a different way. So we can go back to that drum sound, turn off the effect, or let's just put a different effect on. So let's see. Let's go to spring, why not? Turn this sequencer off. Okay, so I'm going to add that in the next area. So let's shift and lift. Make sure we're in the right spot. We're going to drop. Make sure we're in the right spot again. We're going to drop. We're going to go back. We're going to hold Shift to loop to set the loop section forward. Now I've got the third section of this particular track I'm working on. I'm going to hit stop to go to the beginning, and there's the spring sound, and we're going to hit record, and we're going to bring this in towards the beginning of the loop, and I'm going to play it in live instead of sequencing it. Okay, so here's another interesting thing we could do. Let's just say on this synth loop that I've got going, I don't want it to play like I did before. I want to cut it and then drop it in to be in a different arrangement for this third section of the loop. So let's mute these other two tracks. That's about the piece that I want. So we hit. Okay, so the options here, this is where you can have a lot of fun with the OP-1. I'm going to cut this whole thing off, right? And I'm going to lift that out. It's gone. I can go back and grab it from here and repaste it here if I want to, or redrop it here, excuse me, to use OP-1 terms. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try something different. I'm going to lift out this little piece that's left. I'm going to position this and drop it at the beginning of each of these bars. So now we'll bring the beat track back in and play it and see what it sounds like. Making some progress. Let's go up and get another drum kit here. Whoops, I went go to drum. Here's another thing that I didn't know. But if you're in any one of these screens and you hit the drum button twice, it will take you back to the home screen, or in the synth screen. If you're on the LFO screen and you go back to that synth, you can just hit the synth button twice and it will take you back to the actual default screen that you can access with the one button. Just a little tip I got from the Teenage Engineering guys at the show, at the NAMM show recently. So let's go to back to the drums, select this fourth kit. We're going to try and find one of these other Man-Jane kits that I put in here. So we'll go to User, Man-Jane 2, I think is the one that I wanted, with the vocal sample. Let's see. But let's select this one for the time being. Let's turn that that mode off so it doesn't play to the end. Alright, let's see what's going on here. Okay, so let's say I were to want the string to play like this. Go back to the drum kit. We're going to adjust the end all the way down. Okay, and we'll go set it to play to the end. Go to Pattern Sequencer. We're going to clear this thing out with Shift and the blue knob again. Alright, and we're going to program this And every step and half step. Let's do this. Shift. Too many times, so to take those out, I'm just going to go Shift. Alright, now we're good. So I go back to tape mode. Let's go to track 4 that I haven't used yet. You'll notice that it does show blue there. That's a part of the new OS. When you copy and paste a section, it will actually take an empty track from that section and show it as though it has audio in the next section. And one of the reasons they did that is because it shows you this is a complete chunk with this area that was copied. So let's go back to the sequence and lock this in here. The drum sequence. We'll go back to that drum sound and see if we should edit the end of it to be a little bit longer. I kind of like that better, actually. Sounds a little bit more smooth, and that little piece at the end brings it up in my mind. Again, your style's your style, my style's my style. Let's record it and see what happens. So track 4, we're going to hold record. Once again, just hit the key to start in sync and your loop will play in time. And that really, just so you know, is determined by the beat match setting in the metronome screen. That's also been asked. Sorry, I should have covered that earlier. So hold record. Alright, so we've got all the parts going here. Let's cut the beats out. Let's cut the synth out. Well, that's it for now. As you can see, the good old OP-1 makes it pretty easy and quick to work on a remix. And let's just consider this part 1. I think this is a good concept to show, and this is just really just the beginning. So let's review. We've covered how to take external samples and create drum kits, how to move those drum kits into the OP-1, how to open those drum kits and edit and change the settings involved, including the way the sample plays, whether it plays while you hold the key down, plays till the end, loops. We've adjusted synth sound, changing a synth sound, making a synth sequence, editing little pieces of tape, and dropping and pasting those around. Some of the navigation things you need to be aware of when you make songs in the OP-1, and how to best keep things in time. Once you get your head around just the way that the tape works, it's really easy and fun to work with. And even though I am still motivated in my mind to do things I do in my DAW and Logic, I like that I have to do them in a different way, because anytime I'm removed from the things I normally do, I end up with something new, which is the whole creative process we start out to do with making music in the first place. I shouldn't be doing what I always do, because then I get boring. Boring. Who wants to be boring with music? That's really not what it's all about. If I were a painter, I wouldn't want to paint the same house and field every time I made a painting. Would you? I didn't think so. So join me in the next video. We will take this a little bit further. I'll grab the missing Manjane kit and put that in here, and we'll see where we go from there. Onward and outward. Thanks again for watching one of my videos. Until next time.